All right, everybody, let's get on with some rock with it. What I mean by rock with it, last week, Rooster gave you burning seats, coaching hot seats, put out a video. In that video, one of the names that I talked about was Brian Kelly. Well, it became official yesterday. He's no longer on the hot seat because he's no longer employed by Lane State University. I meant Louisiana State University, LSU. Where's LSU going with this? Why right now get rid of Brian Kelly? It's already sliding down the hill. You got about 4 games left in your season. What's the power move for? I get it. People got upset. They lost to Texas A&M. They pretty much got their ass whooped. Enough is enough. People are tired of seeing it. And Brian Kelly was, I don't think, ever welcomed by that fan base 100%. I think he hung on for a while because he has a hell of a record. He was a good coach. He was winning games, but he wasn't winning the right games. He wasn't winning SEC championships. He didn't make the playoffs last year. Expectations at LSU are high. You know why? Because the last 3 coaches they had brought national championships. Great recruiting. No excuse not to have talent on the football team. We know LSU is a very talented football team. Why are you not winning football games? Teams with expectations want more. When you have a national championship background, you want more national championships. A lot of teams don't have that because they've never had one. Or if they had one, it was so far back that nobody that's still alive other than great-great-grandpa or somebody that was born way back in the day watched your team win a national championship. My team's never won a national championship. We have in other sports, baseball, and people live and die by South Carolina's baseball team, women's basketball. That's like the only fun sport for South Carolina fans to watch right now amongst what we consider major sports. But where does LSU go? Lane Kiffin. The only reason I can think of making this move right now is to beat Florida to Lane Kiffin. Now, Lane's selling what he's supposed to sell on TV. It's not about the money for me. It's about happiness. People say, why would Lane Kiffin leave Ole Miss? Louisiana recruiting? Wanting to win a national championship? Does anyone think Lane Kiffin just wants easy street to win 9, 10 wins, maybe make the playoffs, and not win a national champion? Because if you got a coach that don't want to win a national championship, why do you even have that coach? I'm pretty sure Lane Kiffin wants to win national championships. Got a better shot at LSU. Without a doubt, you hold down the recruiting in the whole state of Louisiana. You recruit all the way over to Houston. I mean, LSU's a national brand, so they can recruit anywhere. But what I'm saying is, you think around the Houston area, into Texas, all the football in Texas that you can get in there and recruit. Now, you're recruiting against Texas and Texas A&M, but you own the state of Louisiana. The only way a player is not playing at LSU is because they probably didn't recruit him. Tulane is full of Louisiana guys that weren't recruited by LSU, but every once in a while a kid might roll out of the state of Louisiana and roll someone else. But Lane Kiffin will have all the recruiting he wants, all the resources he wants, all the money he wants out of the state of Louisiana, and I don't know. And I'm not knocking you, Ole Miss. I'm not. But think about the state of Mississippi itself. They do not produce the athletes as Louisiana. They definitely do not produce the athletes of East Texas. They just don't. So what do we say? I think you gotta put it to the money test. Lane Kiffin tells you no, you come back with more. Until you just I don't know, you do have to have some type of budget. Once it maxes out on what you can afford to pay him, then you just stop offering. And you go, look, maybe it is Summerall at Tulane. I think LSU has to go for someone they really expect can win national championships. Because if you were just about winning percentage and winning games, then you keep Brian Kelly, even though he wasn't a fit there. I can go back to liking you now, LSU, because Brian Kelly is no longer your head coach. Let's dip into Florida a little bit. Where does Florida go? If we're looking at Lane Kiffin, where do they go now? If say Lane Kiffin doesn't want to go to Florida, he takes the LSU job. Where are they looking? Maybe it's Alex Golish. Maybe it's the head coach out of Memphis. Rumor is Urban Meyer might be interested in going to Florida. I don't know where that came. You hear all kinds of crap. With all the baggage of Urban Meyer in Florida, I can't see that happening. I think if Urban Meyer were to really want to come back and coach anywhere, maybe he goes to Penn State. I just don't see the Florida and all the things that happened in his time. I'm not talking about the national championships. That's great. I'm talking about all the away from the program stuff with people getting arrested and in trouble and shit getting hidden and swept under the rug. I just can't see that happening. I know you want to win Florida, but brother, you will bring pain back upon yourself making that hire. And there's good coaches out there that Florida can go after. Man, you got fertile recruiting grounds right now. How do you compare Florida to the Penn State job? Florida has to fight off Alabama, Georgia, Miami, Florida State for the talent in the state of Florida. Other teams come down in here recruiting and take players out. Penn State is in a position where they have DMV. Now, South Carolina's dipped into some of that, and you have Maryland sitting there. But they have Philadelphia, they have Pittsburgh, they have a lot of major cities in that northeast area where they can go recruit and get kids to come to Penn State, besides the whole state of Pennsylvania, which is a very large state. Now, I don't know how many I'd have to go through recruiting to say how many real blue chip or high star ranked players are come out of the state of Pennsylvania every year. But there's some talented ball players up there. You have a large recruiting area at Penn State, and you're not fighting as many people as you would with the Florida job for recruits. Past that, we can kind of drop down to Arkansas. What's going on with Arkansas? Do they take the interim tag off, keep Bobby Petrino, let him hire a defensive staff or a whole new staff, whatever? He keeps his offensive staff more than likely, and just hires new defensive staff. If that's the path they go down, I heard rumor of James Franklin to Arkansas. We've heard Rhett Lashley to Arkansas. How much Walmart money do they have? How much investment is Arkansas putting in that football program? Hard to say. But, I mean, Petrino's putting up points. Just the defense not very good. Turnovers have been awful for Arkansas. A lot of games lost off of turnovers this year. Virginia Tech, where do they go? Heard Franklin around there. Is there someone else closer to Virginia Tech that's associated with the program? I don't know. I don't know if James Franklin would be interested in going to Virginia Tech. Maybe he is. I don't know. I really don't. Shane Beamer, we've talked about him going to Virginia Tech. A lot of Virginia Tech fans don't want him. I think Shane Beamer would do okay in the ACC and at Virginia Tech. Here's why. He recruits well in the DMV area and in Virginia. Now, that would hurt South Carolina because a lot of those players have come to South Carolina because we're the closest SEC football team to that area. And Shane Beamer's actually has a pretty decent record against ACC football teams. Doesn't have a good record against SEC football teams, but he does have a pretty good record against ACC football teams. So Virginia Tech, I get it. He's a legacy kid. His dad's a legend, and if something were to go down and it doesn't work out with Shane Beamer, y'all don't want to be the ones that have to let him go. Understand. UCLA, is that a landing spot for a Brian Kelly? Could UCLA look at bringing another Kelly out there? They had Chip Kelly. Now, would Brian Kelly want to go to the West Coast? A little more relaxed. You're in a pro town, not as many eyes on you. Could you go out there and be competitive in that market, get some recruiting back going at UCLA? How much money do you have out there to put into recruiting and into the football program? Maybe a landing spot for Brian Kelly. Maybe Penn State. I don't know if Penn State would go that route, though, Because Penn State may look at it like, dude, if you can't win championships at LSU, you're not going to win them at Penn State. I don't know the mindset of a lot of these athletic directors and these programs and all their boards of trustees and who are all presidents of the universities, who all's involved. So it's hard to say. So then you fall to Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State looks around, maybe the North Texas coach. Heard rumor about I can't remember his name now, but played at, he's in the NFL, but played at Oklahoma State, an assistant in the NFL. Does he come back? Does he want to coach college? Hell, you could go up there and try to snag a Cliff Kingsbury out of Washington, maybe to come in. I don't know if he would or not because of his ties with Texas Tech, but who knows? Who knows where this is going to happen? Who knows how many more jobs open up? Once the pieces and the dominoes start falling and some of the moves are made, and we may not know some of these moves till late, especially if the coach that you're wanting is fighting to get into the playoffs or makes the playoffs, they're not going to make any announcement until that team is eliminated from any playoff hope, or if they're in the playoffs, they'd have to get eliminated. So where does this all go down the road? It's going to be fun. It's going to be more coaching chaos before the end of the season. And it's going to be very, very interesting how this all works out. Does Auburn open up? Does South Carolina open up? Does Dabo Swinney go to LSU? I seen a Clemson fan or a Clemson podcaster put out Dabo Swinney to LSU. Could you imagine Dabo with his religious stuff? And not saying in Louisiana they're not religious, but can you imagine him going down there trying to preach that religious stuff to LSU Tiger fans on a Saturday night? It's all adult beveraged and liquored up. Boy, they'd be throwing more than mustard bottles at him. I can promise you that if he lost a football game. I just don't see that ever being a marriage to work. I mean, that's like Dabo to LSU is almost like Brian Kelly at LSU. It didn't sound right, it don't look right, and it would never feel right. But anyway, I love all you guys. Please like, subscribe. We're going to cut up and have fun the rest of the year, because if not, I'm going to be crying and sad because my Gamecocks not very good right now. Peace.